This is Lansdowne Roar, the voice of the fans. Coming up, Evan Ferguson could be on the move this January as a £60 million rated striker is made available for a loan move. Plus, Bohs and Shamrock Rovers will play their opening game at Lansdowne Road and have the boys in green taken one step further to Euro 2028. It's Lansdowne Roar. Hello and welcome to another edition of Lansdowne Roar. David Dunn here, joined by Conor McAvoy. And as always, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the page. Scan the QR code, head over to our Facebook, Instagram and our Twitter account. And if you want an audio version of this, head over to lansdowneroar.ie or wherever you get your podcasts from. And if you haven't already, give a cheeky little subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are trying to grow that. We've got loads of content on the way for you. It's not just about my lovely talking head and Conor's lovely talking head and Martin, whenever he bothers coming back, his lovely talking head. We've got loads of content on the way for you. So do subscribe to the YouTube channel. And of course, Conor is over at Twitter. He is at RepTracker. And if you want to find out what's going on with the current Boys in Green and the future Boys in Green, he is doing God's work over there. So give him a cheeky follow over there. Right. That's enough of the old pat on the back or shoulder because I'm too stiff. I can't reach my back. Conor, how are you, sir? Welcome back. God, I haven't seen you for a day.
24 hours. I've missed that face. Not much has gone on between now and then. A few things in Irish football news, a few good things, few questionable things, but I'm all good. I enjoyed the football last night. It was good to watch. A few Irish lads actually done well last night, but yeah.
Well, that's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about initially. Anyway, the first topic, of course, it is our headline, and here it is: Ferguson to be loaned out. Evan Ferguson, it was reported by the Telegraph, originally picked up by loads of other outlets as well, that he is to be put on loan this January. And apparently there's going to be a big scramble reading here in Talksport because Telegraph want money. Good luck in that one. And they just said that they're just going on saying Brighton's Premier League rivals Chelsea showed interest in signing a young Irishman earlier this year. They reported in January that he was on their list of summer targets. That is Talksport. However, Brighton believe he is worth more than the $115 million that Chelsea spent on his former teammate Moses Caicedo. Ferguson was also understood to be no rush to leave his current club. He's just signed a 6-year contract, by the way, with Manchester United and Tottenham, previously keen too. They could part ways with him in the coming weeks, though, amid his lack of involvement this season. A transfer battle amongst multiple clubs would come as no surprise given his quality and total of 17 goals for Brighton. So there's going to be a lot of interest in here. He's only made one start for Brighton in the Premier League under his new boss Fabian Huttler, and he's had one goal as well. But of course, Danny Welbeck and João Pedro have been on fire, to be fair.
And Rutter as well, who they signed this summer, has been playing a role as well.
So yeah, I mean, we put it up on you broke the news to us literally just after we finished recording yesterday's episode. That's the Roar curse. That, trust me, you're going to get used to that one. Anytime Martin and I would do an episode, literally, we hit end recording, bosh. Or we'd put the thing up at like 2 a.m, a big story would break. It was break your heart. But yeah, you know, we put it up on the page and a lot of people are going, oh, this isn't good. What's up with him? Well, no, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, is it?
No, it's not. I've seen some ridiculous comments saying, hopefully he can go to a top championship club and score some goals. I think people are massively disrespecting Ferguson's talent and the level of club that would be interested in him. Like, I think there's at least 13, 14 Premier League clubs would take him in the morning if they got the chance. I know a loan move might put a few clubs off because it's, especially if you didn't have an option to buy at the end of it, I know he might score goals, it might keep a team up, but I don't think Brighton would really send him to a team that's deep in a relegation battle. But it's crazy though that the last year or so has gone from, because in my opinion he's the most talented striker in his age in Europe. I know I'm biased, but I think he's that good, and he deserves more minutes at Brighton. I think he is honestly being disrespected with the amount of minutes he's getting. Danny Welbeck is the teacher's pet there as we know. I know he's been brilliant this season, but it's like he's playing every minute of every game. I don't know whether this story will actually come to fruition. I think he'll end up staying at Brighton. Still think with the busy schedule coming up towards Christmas, he'll play a lot more minutes. He'll get a few more starts. He'll score a few goals. And once he gets in the rhythm of scoring goals, you can't ignore a player of Ferguson's quality starting. I know he scored against Wolves that game, which we said yesterday that he scored and then barely got a minute after it, which was total nonsensical at all to me. But it's an interesting one because I think it was something that was bound to come out that I think it's more of a thing of if he continues in this frame of mind of not playing minutes and getting frustrated, they'll have to loan him out. But like for example, if he goes in January, will they not have to get another striker in because realistically the way they play it, they have Welbeck and Ferguson as the two. They play a front two of Welbeck and Ferguson as the two nines, and then the two like false nines are João Pedro and Ruter. So like, who's the backup nine? I know Pedro and Ruter could play as the nine, but it's not their preferred position.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real quandary, I think, for the player, the club, and the manager, of course. And on one hand, as you say, you have potentially one of the next big superstar. Potentially, it's all potential, right? I think he's got the chops for it. He's got the ability for it. He just needs a bit of luck, injuries, that kind of thing. Because I've seen some really talented players over the years. You're thinking this guy's going to be the next big thing, and then injury, just a certain injury at a certain time under a certain manager, and that's it, career done. I think that the issue is obviously it's a risk for Brighton because you're gonna give this guy like this guy, you could potentially sell him. We just read out some figures there. He's he's anywhere between 60 million and 150 million euros, or sorry, pounds in terms of valuation. He's British based now, isn't he? He's got a British passport because his mother's English, so he all that. So, it's not terrible when people have British passports, Conor, as you try to
I don't even think I think he counts as homegrown anyway because he joined them at 16, so he wouldn't need a British passport for that sense. So no need to talk about that.
But apparently he did get a British passport though to help ease that.
No, I think that's how he got into it because do you remember Brexit came in? That was the way he got them. He would have had to go at 18 if he didn't have an English mother.
So that but that also ticks a few boxes as well. So you're not going to have any bureaucracy, whatever. So there's a lot going for this young lad, and I think they know he's not going to spend the rest of his career at Brighton. They want to sell this guy off. He's an asset. But here's the quandary. It's like, do we let this asset go? And then, he gets injured somewhere else. We're not in charge of it. Or he does damage to us elsewhere. They'll probably put in a clause saying that he can't play against Brighton in a game. That does happen. I think Wenger was the first one and the only one that says, no, you can play against us. It's okay. And it always come back to bite him in the arse. However, he's scoring goals for rivals elsewhere. Who do you loan him to? He's too good for you don't want him in a championship. You want him in a Premier League. But also, you don't want him rotting on the bench either because this guy needs minutes. He needs minutes. He needs to be scoring goals. Because, you're going to sell him on. You're going to sell him on. He's going to be, upwards of 100 million. You hope. So it's a bit of a weird one. And it's just where football is at the moment. And I think because football is so, like, money, it's not fun anymore, club football. I've said it so many times. Managers are under so much pressure to deliver. So as well for the manager, he's looking at it going, well, I don't really want to break up a goal scoring partnership. Like, why would you break it up just because, two lads in Ireland, on a podcast really want to see him play? No, the club pays your wages. They're getting results. They're doing it. Why would you break it? If I was the manager, I wouldn't break up a goal scoring partnership just to facilitate Evan Ferguson, with all due respect to Evan Ferguson. So I totally get it. I totally understand it. Now, there's a lot of cricket to be played, as they say, between now and January. One of those guys could get injured, and Ferguson could find himself back in the team, and and probably doing well. And then talk of a loan move goes away, and he has a great season, and all of a sudden he's been sold to United or Arsenal or whoever. Like it's just you don't really know, do you?
No, it's mad. Like I was thinking there, if he goes to a club in January and say he scores 10 goals, in all comps between now and the end of the season, like that'll shoot his value right back up towards 100 million. Because if you can do that between now and January and the end of the season, that's just pure class, especially in the Premier League. Like I've seen a few people throw shouts out, oh, he should go Italy, he should go Germany. I don't think that's really an
No.
option. I think he wants to be in the best league. I don't know. Like you could obviously go test yourself abroad, but would Brighton really want that, especially in terms of coming back into the first team next season or selling on potentially in the summer if they could get huge money for him? But I think I think it's written in the stars. He'll start scoring now between now and January, and this whole thing of going out and loan will be forgotten about. But there's a few clubs I think would hugely benefit from him.
Go on.
I've looked through all the clubs. I would say my top three picks for Evan Ferguson to go on loan would be where I think he'd flourish. At number three, I would go with Fulham.
Okay.
They have Raul Jimenez, but he's not Evan Ferguson. And number two, I have AFC Bournemouth. They are a brilliant footballing side. I know they lost to Brighton last weekend, but they are a brilliant footballing side. They create chances for their striker. We look at the same as Solanke did last season for them, 20 goals. They have the Brazilian fella, name's gone out of my head. They spent 45 million on in the summer, or even more, could have been 60 million. But he's not really kicked on so far. And if you get Evan Ferguson alone, do you have his name there, Dave? The striker for it begins with E, I think.
For what team? What team?
Bournemouth spent a record signing in the summer.
Bournemouth signing. Trying to find it for you here. Enes Unal,
No,
Evanilson.
The striker Brazilian.
Yeah. Evanilson. They got him from FC Porto for 37 million euros.
I think it's more than that. I think it ended up being more than that with add-ons.
Transfer market.
No,
Just saying.
All right. But yeah, I'd have Bournemouth number two because that fella's not really kicked on, and they play very good, nice stuff. They create chances. Solanke's shown last season how to score 20 goals. And for the rogue pick, Dave will be a big fan of this. I have Arsenal as the number one option. Get that man to North London in an Arsenal jersey, and that man will score goals for absolute fun. We've seen what they have. Jesus, his legs are gone, which is sad to see because I actually love watching Jesus as a footballer. He's one of them players you actually enjoy watching. Havertz is a donkey. He is absolutely terrible to watch. I've never seen him. He's effective, scores goals, does his bit, but it's just someone. It shows the pain of modern football when someone that you watch like that can be so effective. But Ferguson and that team, Arsenal fans always going on about crying out for a striker, for a top striker, someone that can score goals. And I just think the way Ferguson plays, the way he links up, the way he holds ball up, the way he finishes inside and outside of the box would be absolutely outstanding for Arsenal. Like the only thing Ferguson doesn't have at an elite level, in my opinion, is pace. But it's not like he's slow. And with Arsenal, they play 90% of the time against a team with a low block. And when you think of the delivery, some of the balls that the likes of Saka puts in, Odegaard, like I don't think it's going to happen, but I think in the long term, it's the type of club that you could see Ferguson go to would be in Arsenal. And I see no reason why they wouldn't be interested in bringing him in.
Just looking here, I mean, they might do, but it wouldn't be a loan move. I reckon it'd be that'd have to be a loan
unless
move.
You got a loan with an option to buy for 60 million in the summer, which I think any big club should try and do.
But what you got to understand, though, Brighton have to look at it from business sense. And I'm just looking at the Premier League table here. Brighton currently sitting fifth. Fourth is Arsenal. So they ain't going to do
points.
this.
They're the same points, but
they're
not really in the same race. I think we'll see Arsenal, especially now Odegaard's back, more in the title race. But in terms of top four battle, actually, it'll be top five this season because of, I don't know if you've seen the UEFA coefficient. Top five will very likely get a Premier League team.
But that's my point. They're not going to do bit like if you're not going to loan to your rival. So realistically, you're probably looking at Bournemouth, which are 13th down. So Bournemouth, West Ham, Everton, Leicester, Wolves, Ipswich, Crystal Palace, Southampton. But the problem is there, if you don't want to go to, you got to be careful because you obviously got to protect your own position as well. You don't want to harm yourself, but also you want to look after the talent. You want to look after the prospect because this guy could be upwards of £100 million. Could be. It's all potential.
Yeah.
Could be. But then you don't want him playing, 10 men behind the ball at Ipswich, and then, go on, son, nick us something. Obviously they've got Liam Delap as well, so that's probably a no go as well. Leicester, bit of a basket case. It's a tough one because you're gonna put him. It's like bringing someone on like with 5 minutes to go when you're 5-0 down. Go on, son. Remember Chris.
Yeah.
Remember Istanbul. You want him playing football. You want him like playing, not just starting games. You want him playing. You want him moving. You want him scoring.
He needs to be in a team that's not necessarily sitting back for 90 minutes and trying to hit them in the counter, because that's not really his game. Like, we've seen that in Wembley against England. Like,
Yeah, it's not him.
I know he actually worked well, and he held the ball up well when he had to hold it up, but like, that's just not.
No.
He's an elite finisher. Like, you wouldn't have Harry Kane doing that role in that sort of team. Like, but there is when you look at this, Dave, there is loads of options that you think would be viable fits. Like, there's a few teams. Yeah, he could go to, would start, would play 90 minutes, but would you really want him there?
Yeah.
But and then there's a few teams like the likes of Bournemouth, Brentford, Fulham. They're all decent sides that play nice football and creates chances for the strikers.
They have to play decent. Yeah, he had to play. That's another thing as well. He had to play decent brand, because you're not going to learn anything from him by 10 men behind the ball, big man up front, lump it forward. You're not going to learn anything, at all. But where would you guys watching? Where would you like to see him go? Let's talk of Celtic.
Hopefully, no one abuses me for saying Arsenal now. No one says.
Says United fan. Where would you like to go? Tell us in the comments below, and we'll see. Although, as we said, there's a lot of football to be played, or cricket, both. Maybe not cricket because it's winter, but tell us what you think of the indoor cricket. Yeah, indoor cricket, is that a thing? Anyway, we're going to move it on, folks. So it was announced this morning, Bohemians and Shamrock Rovers will kick off their 2025 season for the League of Ireland in Lansdowne Road, or the Aviva Stadium, and that's on the 16th of February 2025. Bohs have what's the word I'm looking for?
They have. You mean given up their right?
Given up, yeah. Forgo. Yeah. What's
forgone? I don't know what the word
forgone. Is. Yeah, sorry guys. Catching us at our best here. But they have relinquished. There we go. They have relinquished a home game and home advantage at Dalymount Park to host their League of Ireland opener in Lansdowne Road. I think, Conor, this was James, good man James, in a writers group shared this, and then I got an email from the FAI about it. I think this is a brilliant move, and I think a selfless move, and I think a move that's been missing from the overall joined-up thinking of Irish football, where there's been a lot of Mayfainers, a lot of people just out for themselves, and I understand that to a degree, but the League of Ireland as a collective need to start working together, and I think this is a fantastic move. What say you?
Yeah, I'm delighted with it now. I'm buzzing now to get to the Aviva on the 16th, because it's gonna be an excellent audition, or I don't know what you even say, for the League of Ireland, just to a more global audience. Yeah, it's like this is gonna be bigger news, because hopefully we'll get close to, I'd say, hopefully aim for the likes of between 30 and 40,000, more closer to the 40,000 mark, where you never know like how advertisement could go for this game, how close we could get to a sellout. But I'm absolutely delighted with it. Like, I've seen people say that for the league in general, you shouldn't be doing this, because getting to the Aviva is meant to be it's meant to be a special occasion for all these clubs. But I think we're looking at the bigger picture here. How can we grow our league even more? Show to the politicians, show to investors globally what this league is capable of. So, like, I'm absolutely delighted with it. I think it's a step in the right direction. It shows, like, I still think we're in touching distance of getting the likes of a Wrexham Story. Even when you've seen Tranmere Rovers now, I don't know if you've seen them, ASAP Rockies buying them. Like, just one of them investors coming in. I know it can lead to a club dominating, but in terms of getting that money into a league, into a club, I think we're in touching distance, because the League of Ireland is becoming more and more mainstream, not just in Ireland, in Europe. Like, the amount of things I've seen on YouTubers making videos about the League of Ireland title race is the maddest title race in Europe, which you would have never have seen 5-10 years ago. People just looked at the League of Ireland as, I don't know if you have any recollection of this, is when you're on FIFA as the team that always had 1 stars or half a star when they're rated out of 5, and people used to laugh, "Oh, let's go play with 2 crap teams. Let's go play with Shamrock Rovers against Bohs, for example, and have a laugh." Like, people aren't looking at the League of Ireland as that anymore. People are starting to look at the League of Ireland as a competitive league that now can compete in Europe. Teams can do well, and now is starting to grow more and more every year.
Yeah, and I get it. I understand the whole thing. It's like having the FA Cup final, the semi-finals at Wembley. I remember when you started doing that in the 90s, you go, really? But obviously, it's just to drive more revenue for the FA. But in this case, we're trying to drive more eyeballs to the product. And at the end of the day, you've got to sell a league. You'll have the hardcore fans that will, it doesn't matter. They play in a wheelie bin. No problem. Someone on the grounds probably. But anyway, no, it's basically, yeah. And I've said it for years. You need to tart up the league. We need to make sure when, we look at last season, brilliant title race, fantastic numbers. And you need to look at that with a pen and paper and go, right, next year, I want this. I want a presentation. I want a proper podium. I want it to look professional. I want it to look big time. It doesn't matter. You could be in the wheelie bin, but the right presentation, the right production, the right lighting, whatever, you can make it look big. And we have to sell this to the government. We have to sell it to the people where they go, oh, hello. The whole idea of the Mr. Whitby in the background, you got to get rid of that. You need a nice, brightly lit stand. It has to look the part, because let's be honest, when you look at a game, first thing you look at is probably the score, and then if you switch over and then you go, Jesus, the state of that ground. You know what I mean? Like, you just want all eyes on the game itself, and I think it's a great way to start it off. It's out of the box thinking. To be fair to Bohs and Rovers as well, 2 clubs that have been pioneers of out of the box thinking, and the rest of the league need to take a stance of, I like this. Let's do more of this kind of thing, because, sorry.
I was just going to say, I don't think I think now this is the Aviva thing. We do it for the opening showcase game. Maybe do it for the closing game of the season. I don't think it's something that you can just throw in every so often in the league,
No.
because
I
I
just
think
mean
it'll lose the hype to it.
no. I just mean I just mean that the type of thinking it is. I don't mean like
Yeah.
that specific thing,
You're
but
spot
that
on.
sort,
Yeah.
yeah, that sort of thinking, and because it needs it. It needs, decades of I've been abandoned, really, of neglect. The problem child, to quote John Delaney. And it should be your most loved child, to quote Niall Quinn. And yeah, it's brilliant. It's a great idea. Delhiman Park is obviously going to be hopefully in the middle of refurbishment. The Brandywell also, they're building a North Stand at the moment.
Yeah.
Shells, hopefully you're going to see some money going in there towards Tolka Park. Just bring it up a bit. There's a shop. There's customers. You just need a shop floor. That's always been a problem in Ireland. There are customers. There are people that will go, and we just need to change the mindset of people. Of, it's League of Ireland, like, it's a lot of bollocks that is. It's fucking shite.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm watching that. No, we need. It's like, guys, when's the last time you watched it? Well, I watched it back in 2001. Well, you need to watch it now, and we need to make sure we have a presentation that's fit for people, and people look at and go, oh yeah, actually, you know what, Jesus, this isn't bad, because
I
the
think
football's good.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's getting the standard, and it's not even that the standard is good. It's just unbelievable to watch. I've never seen a more exciting league to watch in terms of end-to-end football. You never know what's going to happen. As I say to anyone asks me, from whether from England or whether, who do I add to my ACCA this week, who do I put on to win, I just tell them, you better off just guessing, pick a number between 1 and 2 and guessing, because it's just so unpredictable. You just never know what's going to happen, and it's the beauty of the League of Ireland. And like the big thing for me now is improvement, is getting rid of the Astro pitches, like getting rid of the Astro Brandywell is on. Like, that would be it'd be a lovely ground if that was a grass pitch. I know they plan to do it. Dundalk is they're still in the financial situation that they can't afford to switch to a grass as of yet. But I was very disappointed with the Bray news last week that they've removed one of the nicest grass pitches in the country for an Astro, without any consultation with any fans, with that, and just went and done it, which is crazy to think. But you can understand why some clubs like Bray would have switched to it for financial reasons, how much easier it is to maintain it.
Especially next to the seafront as well.
But it is disappointing to see something like that happen. But I do think there should be hopefully a rule coming in the next couple of years that I would hope they would bring in, that to be in the Premier Division you must have a grass pitch.
Yeah, and I agree, and that's, see, yet again, you've just highlighted the problem with the League of Ireland. We need joined up thinking. And I understand. I totally get why Bray Wanners would do that. I totally understand it. But there needs to be joined up thinking, and there needs to be support from other clubs, and not just, nah, fuck you. Like, we're going to, then they need to sit around, get around the table and sit down and go, right, lads, listen, let's work together on this. Let's not try and cut each other's throats, because a high tide lifts all boats. And then we'll, hopefully in about 5-10 years, we'll all, we're in the foundation level right now. We don't have pitches. Some grounds don't have stands. They don't have toilets. They don't have whatever. Not all grounds. Some parishes don't have, counties don't have clubs. It's madness. Sure, you don't even where you're from, Monaghan. You don't even have
No.
a club there, like which is mental when you think about it. I don't think Kilkenny have a club anymore, either.
Yeah, Kildare, Carlow, loads of clubs don't,
It's
or loads of
crazy.
counties don't.
So we're still at a foundation level. Like, we still got a long way to go. They need to work together to make sure the overall league, not just one or two clubs, the overall league improves, and they're working together to get more
Mm.
people in, more eyes on the product, more money comes in, the better it becomes. And then we get closer. We might not see it in my lifetime, maybe yours, Conor. I'm a bit older than you. You might see a League of Ireland system, a League of Ireland that's feeding the national team and doing rather well.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think it's not even that far. It's 10, 15 years away of you can see players starting to break into that. I know we had Jack Byrne and Graham Burke done it in the past, but they were it was more, we were in a bad situation and we needed that type of player to come in, and it was trying them out. But I think with the third tier that'll come in the next 2 years or so, it'll help, because there's more. I've seen some clubs that have expressed interest, and they're from, some of them are from counties that don't have League of Ireland clubs, or
good.
counties that have one League of Ireland club, and some of them actually, I'd imagine, a Shamrock Rovers B team, a St Pat's B team would come back. I know there was a lot of frustration in the past over that, but I actually think it's a good thing for football in a country developing young players. We see in the likes of Spain, Holland, Germany, there's teams playing in these leagues with their B team. Like, I know in the Dutch league, a lot of the second tier is a lot of Ajax B teams, PSV B teams. We see Barcelona B, Real Madrid B in the Spanish thing. So I think it's a good. People tend to say it's some thingy because England doesn't do it, but I think for a country like Ireland and developing young players, get them playing first team football as soon as possible.
We need to get out of the mindset. We need to stop following England. Doesn't matter what England are doing. Doesn't matter. We're a totally different situation here.
Yeah.
We need to look at how, and this is what I said, and we'll move it on in a minute, out of the box thinking. Forget about what's going on in England. That works for them. That's biggest league in the world, most popular league in the world, whatever, best league in the world. We need to do what fits us. We need to cut our cloth accordingly, and we need joined up thinking, and we need out of the box thinking. And the government, I think, the right, I don't want to get political. I'm not a fan of Irish politics, but from what I've heard from the sports minister, although he probably won't be judging by how Simon Harris is doing with the people, the man of the people. He maybe Thomas Byrne won't be around much longer. I don't know, but it does seem to be an avenue now for the government to look at Irish football and go, "Oh, hello."
It's the biggest talking point for definite, because I don't know if you've seen many of them clips, because I don't know if you would have got, because of being in England, you mightn't have got the thing, it doesn't let you watch some things when you're abroad.
Yeah.
But the whole talking point of all the people on that panel, for 75-80% of it, was Irish football. Like, and I seen an article Dan McDonald, I think he put it on his Twitter yesterday, if someone in the Examiner put up, about the concern from the GA about all the talks is just about football in the country at the moment, which is, it's mad to see that people are all, instead of talking about how can we improve the GA, because the GA is strong enough in the country, like, but it's how can we improve Irish football, which is even from people who aren't really football, and people who would be GA first, or there'd be rugby first. They're starting to get that keen interest, and we actually want to improve football in this country. We want to compete with the best.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, there was a figure, and the reason why, I think £100 million at one stage, pre-pandemic numbers, £100 million of money was going out of this country over to England for fans going over watching Premier League football. £100 million per annum. Anyway, we're going to move it on there. Tell us what you think in the comments below, by the way. We're not live, but we'll still take your comments. So yesterday, Mr. David Carell, the FAI CEO, he made a startling revelation, really. yesterday. This is what he had to say. And this is about the automatic qualification spots for Euro 2028. So Northern Ireland set to lose. This is, by the way, from you, Conor. This is, I'm stealing this from Rep Tracker. Northern Ireland looks set to lose the chance to possibly get a wildcard spot for Euro 2028 with Casement Park not being refurbished in time. FAI CEO David Crowell has stated, to be clear, Northern Ireland won't qualify for an automatic slot if they're not a host nation. Unfortunately, the criteria is that you need to host matches. 2 places were reserved for any of England, Northern Ireland, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales who didn't qualify. But with Northern Ireland no longer in the picture, it makes qualification look a lot more straightforward for Ireland. Sorry, I laughed. That was me laughing. Unfortunately, it's not really unfortunate for us. That's what happens. Sorry, unionists. That's what happens when you can't work together. So yeah, it's, I don't know. It's probably a little bit early to be talking a little bit like this, but it's because UEFA haven't actually ratified the qualification spots, have they? They haven't actually come in and said, "Oh yeah, by the way, it's set in stone. This is what we're doing."
Yeah.
They haven't done it yet, have they?
No, but I think we know. I think it's been set in stone. It's set in stone that they're leaving 2 spots for the 2 teams that don't qualify, or for whatever. There's 3 teams don't qualify, the 2 best. I don't know whether from Nations League rankings or from how they done in qualifying. I think they haven't stated how that would be done, but this is if this happens and Northern Ireland don't qualify, it's great news for us because you just never know in qualifications. Like the last time, I don't know if you see Northern Ireland's group, like I think they were in the bottom pot. We were in pot 3. We got Holland and France. They got, I honestly can't even remember, but their group was so much easier than ours that you would have went to ours and said we actually could have topped that group. It's like there is a luck thing, and if it would have went off qualifying, you could end up finishing. They could have finished second. We could have finished third. They could have got a spot in the Euros. We didn't. So it's a huge boost for us. So all it really takes now is, because we all know England are going to qualify, so it'll just take one of us, Scotland and Wales, to qualify for all 4 teams to be in it.
Yeah, I mean, Wales are doing very well under Craig Bellamy, haven't lost, I think, in 5 games. Scotland are, Scotland, strange one, really, really strange one. They're in the playoff, of course. They're in League A at the moment, and they're in the playoff too. They got Greece, funny enough. Remember my mate from Scotland told me, "Who'd you get, by the way?" I genuinely didn't know. He goes, "Greece." And I just laughed. I was like, no, you got to know how it feels like. But there's every possibility they could qualify. They have a very good record of qualifying for the Euros as well. So yeah, it's looking good, but I don't know.
I think by Euro 2028 will be in a good spot to qualify anyway in second place, because
Bless you.
We'll go back to your negativity corner.
I'm not being negative, Conor.
Euro 2028, come on.
When you hit 40, it'll happen to you as well.
Nah.
All that goodwill, all those sweet dreams and rainbows, they all disappear. Believe me, especially when you live in a city like London.
Martin Prendergast hasn't. He still loves it.
He doesn't know any better anyway. He was born here, wasn't he? I was in Dublin. I was happy once. Then I moved over here, and it's like people bumping into you, people trying to rob you, and you just become a miserable bastard like me. It'll happen to you too.
Okay.
Not the band. You as well. But tell us what you think about, look, obviously it's a good thing. And there was talk that we're going to, obviously, Casement Park is gone because, heaven forbid you have any unionists would agree to anything helping, anything Celtic related. And then, of course, there was talk about a temporary stadium as well, but it's not going to happen, isn't it? It's too, UEFA tend not to mess around with this kind of thing. I remember Euro 2008. I know you weren't born then, Conor. It was supposed to be Ireland and Scotland, and we had Lansdowne Road, the old Lansdowne Road, I think. No. Yes, it was. Sorry. At the time, it was still the old Lansdowne Road. We had Croke Park. And then we had a promise of building Stadium Ireland in Sagard because Aircon Park was gone, and the UEFA didn't even bother with it. So I think it's looking very likely that Northern Ireland will be gone. Bye-bye. Right, we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much, Conor. Thank you very much for watching as well. if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please do like the video. It does help with our algorithm. Scan the QR code, head over to our Facebook, Instagram, and our Twitter account. If you want an audio version of this, you can go to wherever you get your podcasts from, or you can head over to lansdowneroar.ie, and don't forget to give Conor a cheeky follow over on Twitter as our rep tracker if you want to find out what's going on with the current Boys in Green and the Boys in Green of the future. Right, we are out of here. We will be back. God knows when we'll be back. We didn't expect to do this episode, but loads of breaking news popped up, and here we are. Once it's breaking news, guys, we're gonna do something about it anyway. We will, and obviously we will have a live World Cup reaction. By the way, you can watch the World Cup draw with us on the 13th of December. You can watch that with us live, and we'll do a watch along. It's going to be a bit different. Never done one before, but this is what we do here at Lansdowne Roar. We are the voice of the fans. Anyway, we're out of here. I'm David Dunn. He is Conor McAvoy. This is Lansdowne Roar. Come on, you boys in green.